Welcome back to Race Industry Week 2022. Our special guest is here, Mike Bean, and our wonderful host, Jeff Hammond. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Judy. I hope y'all are doing well. Mike, how you doing this morning, my friend?
Hey, buddy. How you doing?
Well, now that you're here, I am smiling ear to ear, man. I'm really looking forward to getting a chance to pick your brain a little bit, talk a little bit about history, but also talk about the future.
Okay, good. I appreciate you having me on.
Very good. So you guys are on for the next 50 minutes. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So, Mike, how things going up at GMS? I mean, it's hard to believe. Let me stop right here a second before I go this direction. I was sitting here thinking about you and I. Help make sure I get this right.
Okay.
I've known you, 40 years? We met back at, you were with Harry Gant, Gant back in the late 70s.
Yeah, you was with Junior. Yeah. You remember me and Harry used to come over and buy parts and stuff. You know, and that's the first time I, really got to know you there. And it's been that long, Jeff.
It's hard to believe. And the thing is, I'm doing it in a different vein, but where you are, I mean, you're still toting water every day, buddy. I mean, it's just like, you're whether you're a crew chief or whether you're team manager or, it don't seem like you slow down.
No, we don't ever slow down. I mean, it's, we always, Mr. Gallagher and I, we always look at if there's opportunity for us to grow, we're going to take it, which, we started this deal. I came here in 14, at the end of 14, and we was 2 trucks and ARCA team, and now here we are we're fixing to announce our 3rd truck, of course, here in the next week. So we just don't know when to quit. It's we love it, enjoy it, and Jeff, once you get in your blood, it's hard to, you never get it out, right? You
always enjoy it.
Yeah, it's all we know.
Yeah. But I was going to start off and say it's hard to believe that Petty GMS is not even 1 year old. I mean, you guys formed Petty GMS December of 2021, right? Or 2 years old?
Yeah. No, it's 1 year old.
1 year old.
In fact, it's December 7th when we signed the papers a year ago. Well, almost a year ago. And it's been, like I said, it's been a lot of work the last 11 months, 12 months, and we laid the infrastructure. And I know, you've talked about this before. We kind of laid the infrastructure for this deal a couple years ago, and looking at starting a cup team, and we had won the truck championship, and we said, what are we going to do now? And we decided to look into it. And then we knew the new car was coming. So we just waited. And, we agreed to do the 1 car, in 22. And then the charter stuff come about. We was prepared to race without a charter if we needed to. But anyway, so it worked out. And it's like all of a sudden, Maury and I laugh about it. It's like, oh, crap. Day 2. Okay, day 1 you buy it, then day 2, what are you going to do, right? So you go, okay, well, here we go. And it's but we've been very blessed, with Dave Ellis and Joey Cohen, and got a really good staff. And we've stumbled, but we've learned a lot. We won a race, so it's big for us, and the next step, so we just keep growing for sure.
Well, as you said, you and I have talked a lot because we spent some time together with the SRX deal. I had a chance to hear what you had to say and had going on. And I thought for a couple of times I'd have to take you to the emergency room because, you had so much going on, man. You looked like you were going to short circuit,
Oh, but, yeah. I was what I was trying to do there.
Yeah. I mean, it's incredible, to be able to have the accomplishment in less than a year. I mean, you don't normally see this with somebody who literally you had a shop, and it was empty.
It was empty,
and you guys put a car in there and started building, And you made it to the test. You need to make it to make
Yep.
early on in the year. Going into LA, and yet you got competitive enough. You already touched on it, to win a race, and not only win a race, but win Darlington. I mean, that's what you call a feather in your cap. I mean, don't take me wrong when I say this to anybody who's ever won Talladega or Daytona. Sometimes those tracks you expect the unexpected.
Oh,
but
yeah.
You don't do that at Darlington.
I mean, yeah, Jeff, that was the beauty of it. I mean, especially the 43 went in there, and it's kind of ironic for me. It was a very emotional day, of course. I mean, you can relate to it. It'd been 50 years since Richard and Dale had won there, the Southern 500. And then it had been 28 years or something like that since Bill Elliott and I won there with Junior's last win, in the Cup Series. So it was very emotional for me, of course, to, for that day. And I just couldn't believe it, especially, people want to win Daytona, they want to win this, but man, I mean, just you've been there. Winning the Southern 500 is just something pretty cool about that, right? Because being the oldest race, and people like us, we respect the history of the sport, and to be part of that, it was just crazy. I mean, whenever we was sitting there, and I went, "Holy crap, man! We might be able to win this race." And Richard and Dale had already left because it's going to hold the people in the infield, and so I hated that we didn't get to share it with them, but to win the Southern 500, and I mean, it's like you just almost couldn't believe it. It was unreal.
So when you said you started laying the infrastructure, how has the progression gone with your organization since that decision, the people you've hired, and the progress you're making? And now you're going to have that 2-car team again, but by the way, you got a new partner, owner, and he wants to run the Daytona 500. So now you got a third team you got to get ready for. How is that progression going? Tell me how that's gone from going from 1 to 2 now to 3.
Yeah, it's gone real well. Once we started talking to Jimmy, I mean, in fact, I just finished up a meeting in here about the progression of the, the cars, the hauler, the pit box. I mean, I always, Kid Maury, he always laugh. He's 3,000 miles away, so it's easy for him to say, "Oh yeah, let's do it." Then it kind of gets dumped in my lap, but it's but that's okay. But it's going well. I mean, we got the first car. Honestly, that we could put a body. These guys down here, it's not like the old days. In 3 days, the body's on the car. I mean, so I mean, there is some difference there. You work on stuff, but it's not like we go to the one tunnel all the time now, like we used to, right? Wear the tunnel out in December and January, and so. You've experienced, you build a speedway car, and you go to the tunnel, you blow it, come home, and okay, the body comes back off. Start over, right?
Right.
You try to get where you blow it in 1st of December and then 1st of January. Then we have blown trucks here before and load them in the hauler, take them to Daytona too. So it's but the cars come along well, the hauler, the pit box, working on the team, the crew, and stuff like that. And Jimmy and his group's really working hard on, partners. And so it's exciting. It's a lot but very blessed to have really good people. It's, and everybody's excited about Jimmy, GM's, of course we couldn't do this without General Motors, and, thankful for, Pat Suey and Jim Campbell and, Eric Warren and Dane Parentoni, that support us, but really excited, about the trucks with Grant and, Daniel. And like I said, we're going to make our third announcement, our third truck here, December 6th, I believe that's what we're shooting for. But, Jimmy's deal's come along fine. He's excited. What you know about Jimmy Johnson is the truth. I mean, he works his tail off. I'm telling you, he works hard. His work ethic is amazing. I mean, he'll text you at 6 o'clock in the morning and blah blah blah. Just like so that's a lot of fun. To the excitement in he's just a great guy, and the people he's got associated with him. So we're I don't. It's like when everybody announced Noah, we announced Noah's coming. We got to fast track this stuff, and we're really trying to fast track it to So
Well, we're already getting some panelists right now that are wanting to know a couple of things, and one of them would like to understand how important is the standpoint of having both Jimmy and Richard as far as marketing is concerned. I mean, you got to face it. You got a 14-time champion. You got 14 championships between the two of them, and the number of Daytona wins is. I mean, you know what I'm saying, Mike. You got between 284 wins, and you throw Erickson there. That's 285 wins in that shop, the cup shop right now. I mean, that's.
And don't forget Emmon too, right? 8 championships, and you know what I'm saying. So Dale, he's here. He comes here, and always enjoy that. He comes and shares good stuff with us. He likes to sit on the box, so it's always exciting when Richard and Dale comes to race. But the marketing part of it, it's definitely a lot of excitement there. Trying to tie 7 and 7 is pretty cool. It seems to be gaining a lot of momentum. I know it's pretty. I think there's going to be some really cool announcements here soon on stuff, and Richard's a big part of this, just like Jimmy is, and Dale. And so it's amazing that once we made the announcement with Jimmy, like people started connecting the dots, or ever how you want to put it. It's pretty neat to it. Like I said, it's a lot. I mean, people are just throwing so many ideas at you. 7 times 7, 49. Then, I mean, it's like, holy crap, man. I mean, it's like, I would have never thought of that, and so it's pretty exciting to see it and be part of it, but it's definitely taken off. We're in a situation now where I don't have to tell everybody, everybody's watching the economy, watching this and that. So it is, but we've had a lot of people reach out to us, companies and stuff that want to be associated with us. So now we're just trying to, put the best deal together. And I feel pretty good about the partners that we're talking to. It's pretty exciting, and hopefully we'll have an announcement here, probably the first of the year on some stuff. And I mean, how cool is it to be able to market Jimmy Johnson and Richard Petty, right? I mean, it's crazy.
That's what you call a 1-2 punch. Is kind of hard to top. I mean, that's the whole thing. Is that it's like, I know that he's not running for a championship as far as Jimmy's concerned.
Yeah.
But anybody that knows Richard Petty and has been around Jimmy Johnson, you got two highly respected and very eloquent speakers, and those two guys alone. I mean, and they have. I mean, it's almost like whatever Richard hasn't covered during his career, Jimmy has during his. And like I say, it wasn't like he walked away from NASCAR. He now has IndyCar experience to bring in. So, I mean, it's like he's his brand, not to say it's as big as Richard's brand, but both of them are sizable, and the overall, recognition that these two guys bring to the table. I mean, what, you've been around it with, a ton of different sponsors. I don't have to tell you that's what every sponsor is looking for. What kind of branding, what kind of people recognition can we get if we associate with y'all? What can we get we can't get going some other direction?
Yeah. And, the thing is, Richard and Jimmy both, being part of this, they recognize how important that is, right? And they want to be part of that. They want to, they want us, Petty GMS, working on the name, but they want to be used. They enjoy meeting people. They enjoy partners. Richard, we were talking the other day. I was laughing. I said, "Man, you're 80 some years old, and he still just loves the fans, right? He wants to be part of it." And it's like to this day. I mean, I've never met someone that just he loves the fans. I mean, just people. We had a fan appreciation day here. It was amazing the people that showed up, right? And just they love him. And the reason they do is, he'll sign till, we're supposed to have so many, but he finally just told everybody, forget it, just keep bringing them. So that's King, right? He's not going to leave till he signs the last one. So it's fun. It's I always tell him when I worked and I was college crew chief, and we'd go to these races, and he'd be bound and determined to sign every autograph, and we'd be at Pocono or Dover, and we just want to get the heck out of there because we're the one's going to have to drive home. He's going to lay in the back of the van and sleep, right? The King was. It's like, we got to go, Richard. And, it's like we always made sure we was in another vehicle if we could, just because, I had to go to work the next day. He didn't. So, it's like, but he had signed autographs for after the race. We go, come on, man, we'd be 3 hours down the road here. But, it's it's good fun to watch these guys. And Jimmy and Richard's got the most respect for each other.
And this to be true, if you know Richard, when he sees you, what does he usually say? Hey buddy.
Hey buddy. Oh yeah.
Hey buddy. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's his. That's him.
That's him. So Mike, with the powerhouse you've got there.
Right.
And looking at building the teams, is Jimmy involved in who's going to be on his team, or is he just kind of leave that up to you and Dave Ellens or somebody else up there at the shop to kind
He's let that up to us. He's let that up to us, to put that together, and he, we talk about it some with spotting and crew chiefs and stuff. We have a pretty good infrastructure in, like I said, in crew chief stuff and engineers. I mean, we're not like Penske or Hendricks yet, but we have over 15 engineers that work for us now, between our trucks and everything else, and the cup cars. So it's so different. Jeff, I want you to go one weekend with us and just experience the Cup stuff. It's just so different now with the information you have. And, I don't know. It's every time I walk in Daytona, I think about how we used to, when you walked in that garage that morning, you're just going to change engines 2 or 3 times, right? You knew it, right? You may as well, I can still remember walking out of the garage and you couldn't feel the fingertips, right? Burning headers and, the whole deal. Still, it's just so different. I mean, they got so much information now. Those engineers, they sit there and they just bang on those computers all day. It's pretty interesting to, and I want you to come up here one Sunday during the race with the war room up here. It's pretty, sit there and you just, we got 3-4 engineers that sit in there and that chats to the crew chiefs. And I mean, you have the eye in the sky, you got the SMTs, you have this, and they're sitting there and the engineers are speaking with the other engineers. I mean, it's like, it's crazy, man. The stuff I still, you think about, when we used to just write on a notepad to the tire guy, right? Because it's too loud, to talk, or just, how we used to do it. And, now it's so, it's different, of course, but I want you to go one weekend with us. I want you to see how
it'd be my honor. Because again, I think that I know just enough to be dangerous about some of this stuff. And it amazes me that, the way they're able to keep communication lines open, but separate. And that way you can have conversations, like you said, dry race boards and grabbing some guy by the ear cuff and hollering in his ear. You hear what I said?
Oh yeah. It's
those days you don't see that. Everything is such more of I say a controlled environment that's out of control.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy just to think about, when we used to run 500 miles or 500 laps, however how you want to look at it, and it's not like you had a place to sit, right? You just stood around you didn't stand around, but for 500 laps, 500 miles, it's not like you had a place to sit, and plus you just like me, you was the jack man, I was the tire changer. So it's like, you couldn't, you
Couldn't relax.
You never relax because,
No.
there's always something going on that, but yeah, I always kid before we got in cup racing. I said, it's these teams, they take more people to cook than we used to take for a whole crew, right? I mean,
Yep.
it's like, but anyway, it's definitely times have changed.
It has changed. It's changed a lot. And, while we're talking about times changing, it was a really exciting 2022 season for so many reasons. I mean, again, you were part of breaking the record of wins in a season by a team. I mean, when you think about it, 19, almost 20 teams have, won race this past year. And it's, on average, there was 36 teams showing up average.
Yeah, ain't that crazy? Yeah.
It is crazy. But again, you've experienced that. I was excited because I know that there are more people right now having an opportunity to go to victory lane like you and I have through our careers.
Yeah.
And if you've not ever been to never won a race on a team, then, I feel for you because there's nothing like winning a race.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, exactly right, Jeff. Especially, and I know I go back to even the trucks and stuff, enjoy the trucks and stuff just because we get to experience some of these young drivers that wins their first race, right? To share that with their parents or grandparents or their uncles and aunts and cousins and stuff. I still, when Kaz Growler won Daytona in our truck, it's like, with Darius and Karen, I mean, the excitement, like, oh my gosh, we just won Daytona. We weren't expecting to do that, right? So it's always cool to see that, but it's definitely but the Darlington win was really, it was so emotional for a lot of people just because you can't imagine how hard these guys worked to get to there, right till September. I mean, you're talking between putting the deals together. I mean, we're talking haulers and teams. I mean, some of this stuff was done, but still you had to convert the haulers to fit this new car. And just go to where we went to Phoenix, went to Charlotte, and just the tests and stuff. And it was just insane how much, it was funny because we said, it'd be nice to go to the racetrack where we can get some rest now, right? Where, it's, because they'll run you out of the garage. So, it's, these guys did an amazing job. I'm proud of them and all the men and women that made this happen, and like I keep going back to the fact, I mean, that was a long 10, 11 months. It was a lot more than people realize to get to that, and one thing to get there, but like I always tell the message here is, we don't want to survive. We want to succeed. So, that's what we have to do.
Well, the other thing is, you talk about how hard it was to get to here.
Yeah.
But I touched on it early on. You've been around the sport 40 years. And like I say, you have worked on every race car from, Emmanuel Zavakis to Banjo Matthews to Hudson and Pagan. I'm saying just go down the list of everything you put your hands on through your career. What's your assessment of this car? I know that I'm not trying to put you in a corner here, but I mean, I know that safety wise, there's some rooms for improvement, but in my opinion, overall, the competition seemed like it's pretty dang good.
I thought the competition was great. I think that, it's kind of, it's interesting, Jeff, even all the years of racing, you watch it, it's like, you never really saw anyone just dominate, right? I mean, it's like, I always say, you run well this week, but there's no guarantee that you're going to run well the next week, right? It's like before where we had hit on something, I know you've been there many times with Daryl, and it's like you hit on something, you just ride that horse to it. Just you either get caught or you break it, right? And it's like this thing here. I mean, you just go and luckily we have a notebook now. We ran well at Darlington the first race, and the second race, Dave and those guys, they executed well. I mean, we had some luck, but still there's just no guarantees now. I mean, you like I said, some of these races you go to and you see people that run well for 1 week, and the next week it's like they've never been to a racetrack, right? They just terrible. Right. So it's this car's definitely created a lot of challenges, but I like it. I mean, I think of course I like it because I think it is a big equalizer, like you said. I mean, with the different winners, and the organizations and stuff, and you've seen different companies, racing companies run well, and like McDowell and that crowd, they did a nice job, and you've seen people that before with the Gen 6 car, they just wouldn't, they do okay, but now they just run well, and that's kind of where we're at. Like I'm gonna be honest with you, if it wouldn't be for this new car, we'd have never got in it. I don't feel like just it's that Gen 6 car, or what you want to call it. I mean, there's so much development work. There was so much stuff, and I mean, it's just insane. We would have never went down that path because it was just, we'd just been so far behind on engineering with that car. And with this car, I mean, there's a lot of engineering, but GM provides a lot of data for us. So now we just having to decipher it.
Folks, if you're have tuned in for today's seminar with Mike Beam, now if you got a question, feel free to ask it, because again, that's what we're here for. Well, we do appreciate you being an attendee and want you to get involved here with us, because this is what this industry week is all about. It's about you and your company, and any kind of question that we can ask for you to someone like Mike Beam. Please feel free to do that. Mike, we've been focusing a lot really on 2022, and I know that 2023 is right around the corner.
Right.
But here we got the guy's been sitting on this, and he wants me to do it for him. John Stewart, talk about your future, and particularly signing Noah Gregson and that deal. Here again, you thought you had a pretty strong team with Eric Jones, and then now you got Noah Gregson coming in. You bring his crew chief in, Luke Lambert. I mean, you like I say, once again, you made your organization stronger in 2 moves right there. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's and Philip Bell, the engineer, come too. So, and a couple of the road guys that they that championship effort team. And I'm sorry, Dale Jr. and Joe Mass, Debbie and Kelly. But we're excited about that group. Noah, he's signing Noah was an opportunity. I knew that he wanted to go cup racing. We talked a little bit with, Brandon McReynolds, Larry's son. He works with Noah and just does an amazing job. And we just started talking one day, and he said, do you think there's any chance you'd be interested in Noah? I said, I think that would definitely something we'll look into. Ty was doing a good job, but it's like, you've been there before, and it's like all of a sudden you have Eric Jones, I think is 26, and Noah's 24, 25, and looking for the future. So then I started talking to Luke and Philip Bell. He had been an engineer here before in the trucks and left to go to Junior Motorsports probably about 4 or 5 years ago. So it's like the timing was right to get involved with Noah in that group. And so we had to make a tough decision, about that. And, we just decided, Noah's who we're going to go with. And that's what we did. So especially the whole package deal with, Luke Lambert and Philip Bell and,
Right.
Dex and Josh Cheney and that crowd. So, pretty excited to get that, that group put together. So, and Noah was driving, Matt and Chris's car some, so he's getting some experience. And then Alex got, the concussion. So, luckily we're very, very blessed that Noah has quite a bit of experience now in the car. I say quite a bit, but so it's not like we're going to start new.
Right.
So yeah, it was a no-brainer for us to sign Noah, being from Vegas. Maury's from Vegas, and he's known, Scott and Jill for many years out there, and they live fairly close to each other. So it just worked out well that the timing was right to make it happen. And we, we're very, very fortunate that we made it happen.
Well, Mike, you bring up a point I want to make sure I address while we're here, and that is the fact that it's hard to get continuity in a team overnight. And so when you can bring in guys that have worked together, from the crew chief to an engineer, and the people that the driver is comfortable with, the crew chief knows how to communicate with, and they've all got their back. I mean, to me, as a team manager, I mean, that's got to be, Christmas come early.
Yeah. I mean, you've been there, Jeff, right? I mean, and you know how important it is, for the trust factor between the crew chief and the driver. I mean, you did it with, with Daryl. I did it with Bill, and and then it's you have the list, right? So I got to accomplish this, I got to accomplish that, but at this level now, you're racing the very best people in the world in stock car racing. So you can't do any experiments, right? You have to be pretty sure of what you're doing, because it's kind of like our trucks, made a change this year with Hensley and Grant too late in the year, but they come around and stuff. I learned my lesson on a lot of this stuff, the way I see things, but you just can't mess with history, right? And those cats, Luke and Noah and that whole crowd, they just mashed. And you're right. Whenever we got the deal done with Luke, whenever I got that deal signed, and then Philip signed, the engineer, and a couple of the guys off the team and stuff, I just couldn't believe it. I said, oh my, I mean, that's hard to do, right? That's hard to do. And I just can't believe, we were so blessed that worked out for us. And those guys coming in here, and they hadn't missed a beat. They just, I'm really proud of, the fact they just come in here and they fit right in. It's like, it's like they've worked here for a year or two. So it's worked out well.
Well, but you've done a really good job of, and I know from what I've seen when I've been up to your shop, you've done a really good job of making this thing, your organization, like a Hendrick, like a Penske. You're giving people not, a truck team. You're giving them an opportunity to be involved in an organization that's growing. And I think that's the other thing is, how exciting can it be? I mean, we both have built teams before. And there's nothing any more fun to be on the front end of building, let's be honest, we go into the idea of building a dynasty. You want to build something that's going to be around for a long period of time, and you've got to be able to do it with good people, with good drivers. And if you can put that together, then everybody benefits, and you accomplish what you did last year. I mean, I would dare say if you don't at least win a race next year, you're going to be extremely disappointed. But more likely, you're thinking we need to win 2 or 3 races this year.
Well,
we got.
Yeah, I mean, if you really look at it, it's like, I know, ifs and ands and stuff, but if things will went our way, Eric, he had a really good shot. Atlanta had a really good shot at Talladega, both races. And so we could have been sitting here with 2 or 3 wins if things go your way. And, so with that, I would, I always kind of say, like, even our trucks, give people, I don't give, but I'd say, hopefully by Charlotte in May, you're well on your way here. You kind of figure out you kind of break the season up and you say, okay, well, here's what we did well. Here's what we didn't do well. Here's what we need to make sure we do better. And,
Mhm.
you kind of change and you adapt. And so, uh, if we don't win a couple races, we're going to be very disappointed. Seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the truth.
Well, Bruce Martin, he wants to know, Jimmy has stressed that he wants to do the double by running Indy 500 and Coca-Cola 600 the same day.
He is.
From the team standpoint, Mike, how you going to handle all that, man? Is this something that you've already got on the calendar and you're working toward and understanding all the things you got to get ready?
Yeah, I would definitely, from the very first conversation with Jimmy, because we were talking about the Indy cars, making Indy and qualifying and stuff, because it was a funny story, when he did his rookie orientation up there, and he is like first or second lap in the Indy car up there, and you got to run, I guess, 200, 210 or something like that, and he realized after he'd run like the first couple laps in the Indy car that he'd already run faster than he'd already run faster than what he qualified the pole air in his cup car, right? It's like he's talking about the Indy cars, how to drive them. But yes, there's been a lot of discussion, a lot of work put in facilitating, getting that plan together. Talking to NASCAR and just and figuring out, okay, the schedule at Charlotte and making this or that happen. And so there's a laundry list here that waiting to really execute it, and I feel pretty good about it. We got airplanes and we got stuff, now one thing we can't do is the weather, so we'll just deal with that. But probably get Grant to drive it some, that weekend if we have to, and somebody like that, to help us out. And so yeah, we'll see. It's definitely on the list. Jeff, you've done it for a long time. You kind of put it on the list. You say, okay, on my calendar, it gets pretty full because you say, okay, on December 28th, I'm going to revisit that, right? That's what I have to do. And, it's my calendar is a dang nightmare, it seems like. And, but it's definitely, it's exciting, and Jimmy, he's really wanting to do it. And we say, okay, sure. If you want to do it, let's do it. So that's the plan.
Well, you do know that's going to make him the oldest driver to do the double.
Yeah. I ain't worried about him. I mean, that guy, he's amazing. His, workout, and, he just so, I mean, good gosh, he's the least problem.
We talked about Noah and the experience that he had coming into your organization in 2022, getting an opportunity to drive for other teams. So this is not a foreign car to him. What about, where does Jimmy fall? I mean, how much experience has he got in one of these cars, and has he been going to the simulator already to get himself a little more acclimated?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like with this car, kind of like the IMSA, sequential shifting and all that stuff. He drove, the Cadillacs and all that stuff. So he's drove stuff. It is definitely different. I mean, like he said, like the Indy car, it doesn't have quarter panels, so it don't have side force or yaw moments and stuff like that. So it's definitely different for him. So he does, and he has been involved in that Garage 56 stuff. I believe that's what it is. Know it, with Rick and Chad and Greg Ives and them. So he has been in the simulator and stuff. So he hopefully we can get a test kind of like Justin and them deal with Kimi Räikkönen before they ran Watkins Glen. Waiting. I think we'll get some clarity on that stuff, after the banquet here, after all the smoke clears, the second week of December, and see exactly what we can do. I mean, Jimmy, he's I think he's a pretty fast learner. So mainly whatever NASCAR let us do test wise or go let him fill it out, we're going to jump all over that.
Now, you talked a lot about, the help and support you're getting from General Motors.
Mhm.
Hendrick engines in your cars this upcoming season?
No, Richard Childress,
Childress.
RCR. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They do such a
So-
nice job. Gilmore and them, Bob
Yeah.
Fisher, just, yeah.
Rick and Richard have a pretty darn good relationship
They
right now.
do.
They've got that deal kind of heading in the same
Yeah.
direction that Roush Yates has got.
It really is, Jeff. It's not, it's really not much separation there. And, Richard and, Pete, Andy, and that whole group at RCR, Tori and, Rich Gilmore, they did such a nice job. And
Mhm.
we really enjoy that relationship with those guys. So and the motor people, Bob Dodge that works for them, he's like a guy here at the shop. So, just really enjoy that relationship. And, so they're just stand-up guys. I mean, Childress, Rich, you've known Richard for 40 years too. So
No, I've actually known him longer.
well, you have. Yeah. Yeah, you have.
Oh, me.
When did you get into cup racing?
I started helping Jim Van Diver, Carl Adams, and did a little bit with Elmo Langley back in the 72, 73 era, right in there. And that's the first time. First time I met Richard, he come driving over to at that time Tony Bentonhausen Jr. was running stock cars, and he come pulling up in his big hauler, which was a pickup truck and a flatbed trailer, and about 6 tires in the back of it.
Big
ready
time.
to go. Big time, man.
Yeah.
Big time.
Tony Bentonhausen. That was that Vita Fresh. Yeah. I remember that.
That's
picture of
exactly,
that
exactly back in the day. John would like to know, and I know this is going to be something that, it's important to you, because this is where I hopefully, the relationship with the EPARTRADE will benefit, Petty GMS. But the fact that GMS does do and build customer cars, and components for beginning teams, so that you can get some good technology without having to be kind of like going down a rabbit hole that you don't need to go down.
Right. Yeah. I mean, our chassis shop for GMS fabrication, we service quite a few truck teams and Xfinity teams, chassis and components and a lot of stuff at Finish Fab. There's a lot of history up in that building. Got some really good people that's been around for a long time. And we got about 16 teams, 17 teams that we service,
Wow.
So it's definitely a good business. It seems like, we started, I started that business in 15, I think. And just from the standpoint, we have 4 or 5 trucks, and people are just quit doing it. Laughlin and Ronnie, he was dabbling in it some, and Hopkins, and we just decided we needed to control our own destiny. So very fortunate Steve Levitt Jr. come in, got it up and going, and ended up Steve retiring and stuff. So we got the stuff, and we've really been very fortunate there but we do vintage cars. I've done a couple for Bill, his first Riverside win. Then we did a Mercury. I think, in fact, it was a Mercury that Bill and George Elliott bought from Penske. That was an old Cam 2 car. Right. So we do about anything. If we can cut and weld on it, we'll build it.
But that's not really where you guys stop either. I mean, I've been to your shop, and you do your own decals, and there's your company is you pushed it in the direction of being self-sufficient.
Yeah, we want to be self-contained. I mean, Yeah, we wrap our haulers. We do all our graphics. We've been doing that for about 4 or 5 years now, and it's worked out really well. Dick Clavitz does it, and Billy Childers, they do an amazing job. And we just kind of did it just so we can control, especially like the trucks. You get a partner on Monday, before the race, and the other companies, they just couldn't get you the wraps or even. So we just said, we're going to go down this route, and it's definitely one of the best things we've done. Yeah, it's a one-stop shop. From building to about 18 days. When they lay the rails, we're basically bondoing the trucks up and getting ready to wrap. So we did quite a few turnkey trucks for people, even ARCA cars, and
Right.
We got I think undoubtedly Xfinity's in NASCAR, Alton's made a rule change because it seemed like we got Xfinity cars stacked up there today. Seems like I don't know what's going on. Must be a track bar or something. Who knows?
Well, I was going to ask you about that. How hard is it to keep up, on a daily operation? Again, now it's your cup business, truck, doing Xfinity, doing ARCA. How do you keep up with all the different series directors and rule changes, that come up? I mean, I've been a part of it. You leave the racetrack on Sunday and then all of a sudden you get a memo at 3:00 on Monday afternoon. Oh, guess what? You can't be at the racetrack with this weekend.
Oh yeah, we experienced that this year with the car. I mean, with that fire and stuff, and I forget, it might have been Harvick's car. They made a rule change. I mean, which they should have. I mean, so we react pretty quick to it. The NASCAR people, they always do very well now. I mean, Seth from the trucks and Wayne, Alton, just great guys. And Brad Moran, of course, I have a really good relationship with Brad because he come from the truck series, so
good man.
We talk quite regular. So me and Wayne Alton went to high school together. So, it's, so that goes back a long time. And Seth, he's doing a really nice job in the trucks. And honestly, if there's something going on, they seem to call me and just say, hey, here's what we're looking at. And, okay, that does really, it actually puts it on the radar. Then I have a group, got Tom Ackerman and Chad Norris does our trucks, and you see up here in the fab shop, Dave Buckaloo and Steve Nash, they run that deal, and so they're on it, and so it's we have our meetings here, staff meetings, production meeting. We just finished one up here at 9:00 this morning, and as we get into the winter months here, we always set aside a day like Thursday afternoon at 1:00. We get together, especially if it's a rule change, and say, okay, here's what we're going to do. Right. Then we get the drawing department involved, the engineers. Then we draw the parts, and then we submit it. And it kind of goes from there.
I know this is not exactly the same thing we were talking about, pretty dang close. So John would like to know, do you see NASCAR heading into some sort of sustainability profile? And do you think NASCAR will ever do hybridization like F1?
Well, I think they're going to have to eventually. I just don't know when that's going to be. There has been discussions about it, but I think the progression of you see the new car. I think you're going to see. I know they're working on new engine stuff, and basically they're trying to generate excitement to bring new car manufacturers in, new OEMs, Volkswagen, Nissan, people like that, which would be great for the series. So I don't know. I think you're going to see the engine come next, and then I think you're going to see more of the hybrid stuff. I think they're going to dabble in it from what I've heard, but it's a tough deal. I mean, I sit on both sides of this for being a old school purist. The noise and stuff, but you understand how we're going to grow. The market needs to grow, and it's like people can come to a racetrack and sit there and drink a beer and talk, right? And so it's a big division. I see the future there, that we have to go there in some ways to generate excitement with the younger folks, where it's an outing like a baseball, a football, a basketball game, where, but I don't know when that's going to be. I don't know if you and I will see that, in a couple of years or what, but I do know NASCAR and the OEMs are working really hard on a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the one thing that, and I know you get caught up in it. We're not just talking about 2023. We're probably somewhere around 2025 or 2026 already in the majority of discussions that, that are getting ready to come down the pike. And that's the one thing that I see more than anything else that NASCAR has done in the last decade is accelerate and look farther down the road, whether it's the competition side or even looking at it from the next venue. I mean, I'm going to ask you real quick. I know we're getting close on our time. I need to ask your opinion about going to Chicago and street racing.
I think it's cool. I mean, this car is perfect for that. I don't know how it's going to be passing and stuff. I think, the strategy stuff's going to come into play, but any new venue I'm excited for, because, it's, like the Coliseum deal was crazy, right? I mean, just so much excitement there, but still from the standpoint, I think that I love it. I think we need to go to new markets and stuff, because it sounds like that's what partners want. They want to be able to experience new markets and stuff. But the most exciting one I am is going to Wilkesboro, right?
Yeah, I'm glad you're able to wrap that one up and get it out there, because I am too. It's seeing all the work that's going on up there, but more importantly, the work that's going on there is going to make it a better racetrack. But it's not going to change the personality or the character of the original.
No, unless they dig that place up. That's the only way they're ever going to change the personality of that place, right?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, guys.
Mike
and Judy, thank you.
I just cannot thank you enough for spending some time with us here and being one of the first guys out the box here with EPARTRADE for Race Industry Week. Keep up the good work, and I will be up there to visit with you. We're finally going to go to lunchtime pretty soon.
Please do. Please do.
All right.
Bye, y'all.
Registering on EPARTRADE is easy. To start, click on the Join for Free button on the homepage. First, search your company to see if it's already in our database. If you see your company on the list, click on it to select it. Then, choose Claim Company if you are one of the decision makers, an owner, marketing person, or main company contact. Or choose Join Company if you are an employee, and press Continue. If you couldn't find your company in our database, select Register a New Company. On the following page, fill out your name, email, phone number, job title, and choose a secure password. If you chose Register a New Company, you'll need to choose your business type. Select Supplier if you're looking to display products or services and connect with buyers. Choose Racing Business if you're looking to source new parts and connect with suppliers. Choose Race Team if you own or are a member of a professional race team. Then, enter your company name. Please provide a website, Facebook page, or LinkedIn if you have one, and choose to either claim or join the company. You can view and agree to our terms of use here. If you'd like to receive our weekly newsletter, choose Accept. Finally, click Register Now and your registration will be submitted for approval. An email will be sent to your inbox. Please confirm your email address and you will be approved shortly. Welcome to EPARTRADE.